Hello and welcome to gagrule.net. In this episode, we're going to talk about this guy, Fethullah Gülen. But that doesn't mean we're excluding the other evil, which is Erdogan. As you could see, he successfully staged a fake coup d'etat and become the most popular in Turkey again. And he's demanding now this Fethullah Gülen. And we're not saying that Fethullah Gülen has nothing to do with that. But that was very well staged by Erdogan. But now let's talk about this Fethullah Gülen. How did he came to America? How did he become a friend of the highest ranking U.S. government officials? What the media is saying about him? How he does this recruiting? How he opened those 150 public charter schools, not in the United States, all over the world, okay? So I want first show you this, and then we'll continue talking.
Tolerance and interfaith dialogue, inspired by Fethullah Gülen. I want to thank you for your contributions to America, and especially for your friendship to Hillary and to me.
I think this institute serves all humanity based on the perspectives inspired by the life and works of Fethullah Gülen, who tirelessly worked to foster mutual understanding among civilizations and among cultures and among faiths.
Selamın burada huzuruna mani değilse tereddüt etmeden söyleyeyim, o içinizdedir şu anda. O kadar ki en mücriminiz ben. In
a world that lacks direction, there can be no doubt that a pathfinder is needed. And that role is unlikely to be found in the values that reside at the heart of the Gulen Institute and this luncheon series. These values include a commitment to international dialogue, an understanding of cultural diversity, support for human justice.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
So we were showing this last picture of this evil woman, Madeleine Albright. She was the architect of sending NATO, destroying the Christian country called Serbia, and creating two Turkish republic for Turkey. That whole operation was orchestrated by this, again, just like now this Islamic State. They brought those KLA, Kosovo Liberation Army, they trained them in Turkey and sent them there to create atrocity. So I just wanted to say this woman is the most evil woman in the face of the earth, okay? So that's my opinion, okay? So now we're gonna go see what the media in the United States say about this Fethullah Gülen. What do they know about it?
Sharia state. He calls it the New World Islamic Order.
Shortly after he left for America, a series of secretly recorded sermons featuring Gulen aired on Turkish television. In one of them, he told his followers, "You must move in the arteries of the system without anyone noticing your existence until you reach all the power centers. You must wait for the time when you are complete and conditions are ripe until we can shoulder the entire world and carry it. You must wait until such time as you have gotten all the state power, until you have brought to your side all the power of the constitutional institution. Classified documents released by WikiLeaks show that U.S. officials have concerns about the Gulen schools. The U.S. Embassy in Ankara stated, "We have multiple reliable reports that the Gulenists use their school network, including dozens of schools in the U.S., to cherry-pick students they think are susceptible to being molded as proselytizers, and we have steadily heard reports about how the schools indoctrinate boarding students."
Sharia.
So there you go. U.S. government know everything about this. They know who he is. They know they brought them in here. So why we just don't know that part? But the next one is the most important about the education. So listen to 60 Minutes, and then we'll come and show you some more stuff.
Alp Aslandawan chairs a foundation in Houston that advances Gulen's teachings.
It's so counterintuitive that people from Turkey would come here to get involved here in education.
People do go to other countries, including Africa. United States, especially in math and science, is not really good, and many parents complain about that. So there is a need for skilled teachers in the United States in that fields.
That the schools are providing work visas for hundreds of Gulen followers from Turkey.
And that the whole idea is just to get Turks to come into the United States, and this is an easy avenue for them.
Which is categorically not true.
David Dunn of the Texas Charter Schools Association says that because of a deficit of qualified Americans, the schools bring in math and science teachers from Turkey, as this list of visa applications indicates. Problem is,
we've seen that some of these visas for Turkish teachers to come here are for them to teach English. How does that make any sense?
I'm not aware of that. I can't comment on that. I don't know.
Man Alp Aslandawan.
So you can see how powerful the Turkish rulers are, how they infiltrate and penetrate deep inside any superpower. They did that with Islamic Empire. They came in as slave soldiers. They destroyed the Islamic Empire. They hijacked the Islam. They went on destroying not only the Muslims, but the Christian Byzantine Empire too. So that's how they do their infiltration. Now they're concentrating on the United States of America. Now, when I saw that, and here is this guy, like American parents are begging the Turks to come and teach them English, reading, writing, science. Imagine how bizarre this is. The United States, the most technologically advanced country, every information technology, it's from United States, yet the Turks gonna come and teach Americans. I mean, it tells you how the Turks know how to infiltrate and penetrate inside every system in the world. So I thought maybe the Turks becoming such advanced, and I did some research to find out, are the Turks ranked good? There is a reason that American government let this guy, this Turkish Imam, come to America. Okay, so I did this. So I did this research. I find out this OECD, they rank all the more advanced countries, who is more advanced in education. But you look at this, there is Turk's name doesn't even exist. So the question is, why then the United States government didn't ask this mullah, what credential you have to come in America teach our children English, science? But this is how bizarre this is. But most Americans don't even know about it. And I know some people who live like 20 minutes from his, wherever you want to call it, this castle in Pennsylvania, Pocono Mountain, they don't even know about him. But here is another chart. This is the UK they did, they want to see like how their people rank among other countries. Well, if you look at this chart, you see Turkey is at the bottom of the pit. So how did then Turkey become teaching Americans English and science? You could see it is the third one in the bottom. All right. And here is this next one. You could see like this guy, he literally is almost every state in the United States he has his schools. He corrupt God knows how many government officials, whatever he did, because you can't just do all this for nothing. I mean, we're showing those very, very small segment because we don't want to bore you to death watching, 2-3 hour video. And so that's why we're giving you very small that you can see, understand how evil the Turkishness is, So this is the. But now we're going to show you how he recruit, how not only him, he and Erdogan infiltrate the military-industrial complex, but this guy is concentrating on education side. Okay, so here is, watch this woman.
5 years ago, I had never heard of the Gulen movement. And then I began getting graduate students from Turkey who came to the University of Houston and who wanted to study with me. And some of these students were members of the movement. So, and of course, they wanted to do theses on the movement. So that was my introduction to the Gulen movement. Then I made one of 4 interfaith and research trips to Turkey. And my area is really social movements. So during those first couple of trips, of course, we visited many of the schools in Turkey. We visited several of the private hospitals. We visited Zaman newspaper. We visited Bank Aisha. We visited Kimse Yakmu, many of the Gulen institutions. And I came back to Houston.
So as you could see, they send the Turks to supposedly study, and they end up corrupting and recruiting the professors in United States universities, put them in the plane, take them to Turkey, brainwash them, bring them back, and watch now that same woman in some, closed door or something, somebody video it, and how he talks about the Turks, how it's all this, they're doing it because the Turks are such a good culture. Look at this.
So in both Bill's commitment as well as Show's commitment. So that's the money aspect. And why? Why do people do this? Well, I think the basic answer goes back to Turkish culture and to Islam. It's a religious movement. People are motivated by Islamic teachings and by Turkish culture, which has always emphasized, as you know, hospitality. You have to come visit my home and see the beautiful cabinet I have with all these gifts. Sweetheart, we're going to have to buy another cabinet. I'm already out of space. Every time you go to Turkey, you better take an extra suitcase because you're going to come back with ceramics. And these aren't just cheapy little things. I mean, these are beautiful ceramics. Anyway, so everybody gives. It's the spirit of Turkey, and it's the spirit of Islam. And they tell the story about, Muhammad in the desert, never eating alone. When he would sit down at night, he would invite the stranger into his tent. And so that has come down, and I think that's part of it. So the movement is really a voluntary movement support.
So they turn her into a preacher. Now she's preaching on behalf of Fethullah Gülen, right? Honey, we need to take an extra suitcase when you go to Turkey. You see, they fill it up for you. That's how Turks corrupt. They come here, they hire them, they take them to Turkey, they fill them up with all those goodies, and they come back at Turks. You see, this is how Turkishness works. They've been doing this for 200, 300 years. This, for you, may be new, but for those of us who know, this is not new. We know this. And that's why we're trying to educate the public, be aware of Turkishness, you know. And so she talks about desert. Since when the Turks lived in the desert? It was the Arabs. It was Arab who invented even Islam. But the Turks hijacked it. You know, she talks about, you know, like was in 1915, the Turks, when they were defeated, they throw the Islam under the bus. They throw Islamic alphabet, Arabic under the bus. They converted to Latin. That's why now you have these zombie Turks. They have no idea about their history because they cannot read their history because it was all written in Arabic, you know. And the few people who, like some historian, they know the facts and what happened to them. But the rest, they have no idea, you know. And so the Turks never had no alphabet, no nothing, no religion. So they came and they saw, when they brought them as a slave soldiers, they saw this opportunity, they took it, you know. And so anyway, I just wanted to show, I'm showing you all these things so that you get educated, understanding Turkishness. Now here is another book writers. They go there, they hire those book writers to write the books. Listen to this
fabulous book.
Well, background's a long story. We could do a long show on that, but in terms of my scholarly background, I mean, that's really what inspires me to write. I am a specialist in religion, in the religious studies. I have a PhD in that. I'm a college professor, and when I first encountered the ideas of Fethullah Gülen, I was immediately impressed and blown away by the kind of connections that I saw in his work and some of the other work that I've done and was familiar with just from being a scholar in the humanities. And so that really was the beginning thing, the germ that inspired me to write the book.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about Gülen and his philosophy and how this all kind of started to come together in a cohesive form.
Yeah, I learned about Gülen not from reading his work at all, but from visiting Turkey in December of 2004. I was part of an interfaith trip of people from the Houston, Texas area and maybe a few people from Oklahoma and others, and we were on a trip for about 10 days. We went to Turkey and we visited all over Turkey, but we visited these schools and hospitals.
You to write this.
So she didn't bother reading about Gulen, but Gulen, when she heard about it, it was like a germ come to her. And this is how he's corrupting all those people under name this interfaith dialogue. Like he's this nice guy, he wants all those interfaith dialogue. But as you saw that first video, that's what they do. They use some umbrella, under umbrella they do different things. So evil. So the things was, both those two, they were partner. They were planning this Neo-Ottoman Empire, but each one had different philosophy. This guy wanted to indoctrinate people, children of the world. Erdogan wanted to create those terrorists. That's why he brought those terrorists in Syria. He destroyed Syria. He literally sucked Syrian economy, brought all those people in Syria, which is 60% now. New businesses in Turkey are all Syrian, right? And then he turned Syrians into refugees, sold them to Europe for billions of dollars. And he was bargaining Syrian refugees for visa-free for 75 million Muslim Turks. Have you ever heard of any deal like that? This is how corrupt the system is. So this is what they were planning to do. They wanted to annex northern Syria, northern Iraq, and create this path through the Iran, because that was another subject to talk about. It is like Israel, Israel gonna start bombing Iran, northern Iran, with help of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is northern Iran. There are some Azerbaijanis. They're gonna rise up, and so the Turks are gonna move in and to create this path to their brothers in Central Asia, the Turkmenistan, and all those people. But those, because of partially many other things, but both Erdogan and this Gulen, they came empty pocket. They had nothing. And now both of them are sitting on hundreds of billions of dollars. I won't be surprised that's what they're fighting each other, you know. But the Turks always kill each other. They kill their sibling, you know. They have history of doing these things. But here is the result of Gulen school and madrasas, and why he wants to do and enjoy watching American children converting to Turkishness.
The time you've all been waiting for. We're talking Bergen Art and Science, Patterson Charter School, Syracuse Academy of Science, Young Scholars Charter School, everybody, Hampton Charter Schools, Central Jersey College Prep, and the Pioneer Academy of Science. Everybody, come on out. High schools, and I'm going to tell you who won the 3 prizes.
Baba Gulen, we love you. That's what they do. This is what Baba Gulen does in America. They're just converting them to Turkishness.
They're privately managed schools that are funded with taxpayer dollars. It's a perfect storm that's destroying American public education.
This is about money, this is about politics, and it's harmful to our democracy.
I would say about 300 kids are supposed to use this playground.
There seemed to be some treatment differently of minority students, minority teachers, and females.
It's not a good environment for anybody.
I've never known a school to be rated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This is a first.
You know, most Americans are not aware that the largest charter chain in America is run by a group of Turkish men associated with an imam who happens to be very politically powerful in Turkey.
Isn't it amazing that a group that is this powerful in Turkey is also running the largest network of charter schools, and Americans don't know about it?
So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we enlightened your education. You understand now Turkishness, how they do, and we're going to do more of those episodes to expose Turkish crime against humanity. And we thank you very much for watching, and you have a nice day. Bye-bye.